You will do the presentation first, right? Dr. Thatchalerm, or which one? Okay.
May I start my presentation? Okay. The past several decades have witnessed increased urbanism in many regions of the world, especially in the newly industrial countries of the Asian Pacific regions. Thailand is no exception to this statement due to rapid economic growth and unprecedented migrations of rural population into the urban centers. Past urban policy formulations and implementations that are done in an ad hoc fashion cannot adequately deal with these twin developments. Of the utmost importance is public infrastructure, on which public service delivery and local economic development rely. Public infrastructure conditions such as wastewater treatment facilities, flood water management systems, and public transportation help save the costs of public service provisions in the long term and induce business investment in the local jurisdictions, thereby creating more jobs and sustaining local economies. The effective local government management and capital improvement and investment planning and intricately linked. In Thailand, local government management has become an important political and administrative issue since the decentralization reform took its shape in 1997. However, existing literature on Thai local government suggests that Thai local authorities, particularly the municipalities, despite 10 years of experimentations with self-governance, have not been active about capital improvement and investment. Reasons for such passivities include the Thai municipalities' lack of governing capacities and local clientelistic network that often resulted in corruption and ineffective urban management. I, however, don't want to draw the hasty conclusions that the Thai municipal government officials' dormancy is attributable to their lack of capacities and cultural predispositions to engage in corrupt practice. Rather, as there is of research on the central-local relation in Thailand after decentralization, I ask whether the roles of central government agencies, especially the Ministry of Interior and the Office of the Auditor General, have in fact caused passive capital investment and improvement at the municipal government level.
Good morning. Well, hi. Our research, the theme of this panel is pretty much fiscal retrenchment, challenges, opportunities, and innovation. Did you get that? Okay. But our research focuses mainly, I would say, on challenges facing local governments in Thailand, particularly the municipalities. Now, before we proceed, I have to inform you that there are 3 types of local government in Thailand. At the first level, we have the Provincial Administrative Organization, PAOs, that's what it stands for. And we have the municipal government, and then we have the sub-district or Tambon Administrative Organization, or TAOs. Now, we focus on the municipalities because increasingly the TAOs, the sub-district organizations, aspire to become municipalities because then they could get more money from the central government. So everybody now wants to be municipal government. Now, as a Chinese philosopher, ancient Chinese philosopher used to say, there are three types of reasons in the world: good reasons, bad reasons, and my reasons. And today, I am not bold enough to say that what I'm going to talk about is my reason. It just say my findings from our field research. Okay? And the propositions. Now, the first one is that Thai municipalities rely more on central government grants and transfers for their capital improvement projects than other types of local government. We use the data set on local government expenditure between 1998 and 2004 that we secured successfully from the Department of Local Administration in Bangkok, here in Bangkok. The second proposition is that there is a relationship between the municipalities' passivity about local capital investment and the central government agencies' mismanagement of the decentralization reform and their dominant role, almost domineering role in the decentralization process. Now, for proposition 2, we use the interview data that we did with the exact number is 64 municipalities up and down the country. In the process, we interviewed the mayors, deputy mayors, and the municipal administrators, or Palathe Sabha in Thai, and several community leaders. Now, let's take a look at this data set from the Department of Local Administration. As you can see, the red bars represent the amount of capital expenditures from the municipality's own revenue sources. The green bars represent the amount of capital expenditures from central government grants and transfers. Where's the red dot? Oh, here. From 1998 to 2004, as you can see, that 1998 is the first year after the decentralization legislation approved and ratified by the national parliament. Thai municipalities relied heavily on the central government grants for their capital projects. Pretty much so. Much more than their own revenue sources, except with fiscal year 2000 being the only exception. Now, the question is, but don't all Thai local authorities depend on central government for, well, almost everything? Well, on this slide, well, let's just give the ratio, but just look at the, the formula, I mean. But the ratio, what that means is that the higher the ratio, the more that type of local government rely on central government. And as I would like to remind you, there are 3 types of local government in Thailand. And as you can see, the red, and there's no political affiliation with the color that I use. Municipalities, as you can see, represented by the red bars, rely most heavily on central government grants than other types, more than other types of local governments, including the PAOs and the TAOs. Now, we know now that Thai municipalities from the previous slide, more than other types of local government, depend more on central government grants and other financing strategies. But how such heavy reliance affect the municipalities? ability to plan for their ability, particularly their ability to plan for capital improvement and investment, right? So what's wrong with people handing you money? Should be a good thing, right? I would love to be in that kind of situation. But in-depth interviews with municipal government officials paint a very painful picture for them. Not only are they dependent on central government for capital project grants, they also lack essential public service responsibilities and discretionary powers. Roughly 10 years, what that means is, what we can surmise from those interviews is that roughly 10 years of decentralization have passed without any attempt by the central government agencies, including especially the Ministry of Interior, to teach local government in Thailand the role of governing. Now, I remember from our colleague from Japan asking about the standard formula for intergovernmental grants in Thailand, and Ajahn Virasak beautifully answered that question, although he claimed that it's a challenging question, right? The thing is, in Thailand, almost the same with everywhere now, as the financial crisis in the world has revealed. Formulas and laws are there. Politicians, as long as they're in power, they might not pay attention to them. They might pay attention to them. Depends on their mood, depends on their emotions, depends on whether their political career is in jeopardy. Now, our interviews, most of our interviewees mentioned that their most effective strategy to secure grants and funds from the Thai central government is to hire the best lobbyists you can, to talk to the politicians, to convince them that, oh, this capital project is necessary. Yes. Another important thing that emerged during our interview is their complaint about the Office of the Auditor General. Now, in Thailand, the Constitution of 2007 empowered the Office of the Auditor General, which is the constitutionally independent agency, to check, inspect, rather,